Good afternoon, students. Myself, Mr. Shivgounda Patil, working as an associate professor in Community Health Nursing Department in Patil College of Nursing, Kolhapur. So today we are going to see the topic of information, education and communication. So IEC activities plays a very important role in order to transfer some information to the people, and it plays an important role in healthcare delivery system also. So today we are going to see the IEC topic. So first we'll go with the meaning of the topic. In that, what do you mean by IEC system? So here it combines strategies, approaches and methods that enable individual, families, group, organizations and communities to play active role in achieving, protecting and sustaining their own health. Okay, so this is what the IEC system here. It has a combined strategies. So you can see the IEC approaches. Okay, so approaches may be individual approach, that may be family approach, that may be community approach. So and it has a methods also. Okay, so IEC activities has some of the methods. Okay, so that will help the people, that is individuals, families, groups, organizations and the communities to play an active role in achieving and protecting, sustaining in their own health. So this is what the IEC system. So next we are going to see what's the meaning of information. So information, it is the news or intelligence communication by words in writing. So it is what the information. Next we will see the education. What do you mean by education? So education is the process by which behavioral changes take place in an individual as a result of experiencing which has he undergone. Okay, so here the education is a learning process. Okay, education starts with the learning process starts with the birth to till death. Okay, so here by the education process, learning process, there will be behavioral changes in the individual, what you can see. Okay, so this is what the education meaning, and next we are going to see the communication meaning or definition. What do you mean by communication? So it is a two-way process of exchanging ideas, feeling and the information. Communication means it is a two-way process. Okay, so sharing the ideas, feeling, thoughts. Okay, so one person to another person. That is what the meaning of communication. So next we'll see the particular definition of what you mean by information, what you mean by education, what you mean by communication. So what do you mean by information here? So information, it is to describe, it is a one or more statements or facts that are received by the human which have somewhat worth to him. Okay, so this is what the definition of information. And next is the education. Okay, so education, it is the process by which behavioral changes take place in an individual as a result of experience which he has undergone. It's learning process through which an individual informs and orientates himself to develop the skill and the intelligent actions. So education is a learning process. Okay, it starts with the birth and end with the death. And here, education, the learning takes place in the individual by exposing to particular event, particular situation, he will get some kind of the knowledge. Okay, so it is a overall learning process. So next is the communication. Already we have seen the meaning of communication. We'll see the definition of communication. What it is communication? Communication, it is a process of attempting to exchange to behavior of others through exchanging news, fact, opinion, messages between the individuals. Okay, communication is a two-way process. So here the person to person and the person to group, they are going to exchange the fact, their opinion and messages between the individuals. So that is what the definition of the communication. So that is what we have seen, the information, education and communication, meaning and definitions. So next we are going to see the historical perspectives of IEC. Okay, how the historical development has taken place in the IEC by So when we look after the historical perspectives of the IEC, so it is started with the we'll go with the first 5-year plan. Okay, it is between 1951 to 1956. So here you can see some of the IEC activities. The supply limited number of posters for the distribution among the peoples. So this is the poster distribution among the people. It is one of the IEC activity what you can see that is been seen in the first 5-year plan. And next in the second 5-year plan, that is duration between 1956 to 1961. So here the concept holding orientation training camps was introduced with the family planning education leaders. Okay, especially in the second 5-year plan. So orientation training camps that is implemented and introduced through the family planning education leaders. Okay, so next in the third 5-year plan. In the third 5-year plan, the family planning workers are required here. In the third 5-year plan, so 2 mass media units were created. So family program symbol of inverted red triangle was introduced during the third 5-year plan. Next we'll see the fourth 5-year plan. Okay, it is the duration between 1969 to 1974. So birth spacing and permanent method of family planning was introduced in the during the fourth 5-year plan, and the linkage between the man media and education was emphasized and strengthened, and the male contraception, that is Neros, as a social marketing product as introduced, and the each state appointment mass education and media officer in 1960. What you can see, mass education and media officers. And each district in 1970 at block level, 1 block extension educator was appointed. In 1970, so each district 1 block extension educator was appointed for the IEC activities. Next, in the fifth 5-year plan, it is between 1974 to 79. So what are the IEC activities are being implemented in the fifth 5-year plan, providing the appropriate knowledge about the methods of contraception and the place of availability. And next, it also emphasized covering all media of mass communication such as radio, press, songs and drama, exhibition, group discussion through the extension educator and the field workers. And in the sixth 5-year plan, that is between 1980 to 1985. So here you can see the child survival, state of women literacy and socio-economic development were added to promote the family planning program in the sixth 5-year plan. So next is the seventh 5-year plan. Okay, in seventh 5-year plan, it is between 1985 to 1990. Here mainly they have concentrated on the 2-child norms, increasing age at marriage, male participation in family planning where areas were mainly concentrated, and systemic use of mass media channels, that is TV, radio, films and the print media were emphasized. In the 8th 5-year plan, that is between 1990 to 1997. So here social mobilization activities, participation of the NGOs, that is non-governmental organizations, community participation through the women's group were implemented. And next is the 9th 5-year plan. So that is between 1997 to 2002. So here the main focus of new IEC strategy for RCH program is promoted behavioral changes and to introduce a well-defined and culturally appropriate program for the specific region and the population, what you can see in the 9th 5-year plan. So we had seen the what are the developments where took place, milestones in the IEC activities or IEC program. Then next we are going to see the what are the trends are there in the IEC, that is information education and the communication. So we look after the earlier IEC activities, we type on the simple dissemination of information primarily in one-to-one classroom situation, or it may be in clinical setting, and it may be in the small group in the villages. So the earlier IEC activities, what we can see, the information that will be said only one-to-one in the classroom situations, or else in the clinical settings, or in the small groups in the villages. But the new approaches, now there are new approaches like a social marketing claimed success in promoting products such as neuro malady, oral rehydration salts, and the vitamin solutions. So what are the trends, what the development or trends what you can see in the IEC? Earlier IEC activities, information, giving the information that is restricted to only one-to-one classroom situations, or else it may be clinical setup, or else it may be small groups in the villages. But nowadays we can see the social marketing. So next we are going to move towards the scope or importance of the IEC. What will be the scope or importance of IEC? So first scope is or importance is motivating people to use of health services. So here some of the implementing IEC activities, the people are going to be motivated and they are going to use the health services which are available at the urban area and the rural area. So here the first scope is the motivating people to use of the health services through the IEC activities. The next scope is to cooperate with the concerned health programs. As we know that there are many programs are running under the state government and central government with the help of the different central government, state government, different health departments. Okay, so here, so there is a cooperation with the concerned programs with the implementation of the IEC activities. Then only we can achieve whatever we are going to achieve. Okay, so that is what the second scope. And the third scope is make all individuals to have the health consciousness. Okay, here, so individual should aware about their health status. Okay, next is the last one is the community participation. So community participation is very important. When we implement the IEC activities and all, so the community people also actively participate in that particular program, that particular events. Then only we can achieve whatever we are going to achieve, like objectives and all will achieve. We are going to achieve our goals. Okay, so these are the scope or importance of the IEC. What you can see. The first one is the motivating people to use of health services and to cooperate with the concerned health programs, and to make all individuals to have the health consciousness and the community participation. So till now we have seen what do you mean by IEC and how the IEC development take place, and what are the trends in IEC, what is the scope of IEC. Next we are going to see what do you mean by information. Okay, so here it means that fact or figures received by human. This information to be true or factual to be labeled as information, and lies plus counterfactual information is called as misinformation, and therefore the information is intangible news and fact which an individual uses to bridge the discontinuities and gaps that are present in his mind, process which are seen or pursued by an individual called as information. So what are the benefits of right information? Okay, so eliminate the social and psychological barriers of the ignorance and the misconception that the people may have the health matters. So next, the benefit is to increase the awareness of the people to the point that they are able to pursue the health needs. And next, influence the people to extent that unfelt needs become felt needs and felt needs become the attitudes. So next we are going to move towards the education. Okay, here education, we have already seen the definition. So we are going to see now here the health education. Okay, definition. Health education is a process that informs the motives, motivate and help the people to adopt and maintain healthy practices and lifestyle adequate environmental changes are needed to facilitate this goal. Okay, this is what the definition of the health education. According to John M. Last, he has given, it is the process by which the individual or the group of the people learn to behave in a manner conducive to the promotion and maintenance of restoration of the health. Okay, so this is what the definition. So what are the aims and objectives of the health education? So here the main aims are like to encourage the people to adopt and sustain health promoting lifestyles and the practices. And next is to promote the process use of health services available to them, and to arouse interest to provide new knowledge, improve the skills and change the attitudes, is making a rational decision to solve their own problems, and to stimulate individual and community self-reliance and participation to achieve the health development through the individual and community involvement at every step from the identifying the problems to solve them. So next we are going to see the principles of health education. What are the principles of health education? The main aim of the health education is to bring about change in the health behavior. Okay, when you give some information to the people, okay, so they should be changing their behavior. Okay, they should adopt some healthy lifestyles. Okay, so here next is the health education is not an artificial teaching, learning exercise. Health education should involve the free discussion. Okay, next, tell only what is needed. So when we give the health education to the people, okay, that may be client or group, whoever, so what is needed, that should be told them. And next, don't give complex information to the clients. Okay, in that case, what happened? So cannot achieve the whatever you are going to achieve goals in, and try to change only what needs to be changed. And the educator should make himself acceptable. So next, the use audiovisual aids whenever it is possible. Why it is? For the effective output, we should use the AVX properly. And choose a proper medium of communication. Communication also very important here in order to transfer the information. And next, communication must be in a good way. And health education must be planned, and health education should be provided in graded doses. The health educator should put into the practice the principles of community organization. So those are the principles of health education. So next we are going to see the levels of health education. So you can say as a approaches also, approaches of health education. What are those? There may be community approach, individual approach, family approach and a group approach. We'll see one by one how it is. So community approach. If you want to give some information, health information to the people, so to the village people or in the large people, then we have to consider the community approach. Okay, so it is to encourage the people to find out their own needs, and then in planning, education and evaluation of their schemes. And the health education program should include the educational efforts aimed at making the people aware of their own responsibility in obeying the laws. So the steps will be followed for the community approach. So here contact the people that matter in the community. Such people are like elected leaders, local officers like a block development officers, BDO, police, local medical practitioners, local voluntary and other health agencies. And next we have to utilize all the potential teaching opportunities. And next, contact a needy and suitable party. For example, if the rich person in the village who needs a latrine, and we need to give the awareness information about that particular matter. So immediate provision of the services. Okay, what are the health services available to rural population as well as the urban population? We need to provide. Next, mobilize the community forces. At this stage, start the campaign and competition for the healthy living. Okay. Next is the form a healthy committee. So this is what the community approach. Next, we are going to see the group approach. When the information you are going to give to the particular group. Okay. So here you need to go for the group approach. Okay. So if the particular health education, antenatal exercise among the antenatal mothers and all, and geriatric care among the geriatric clients and all. Okay, so you need to choose here. Okay, so that is what the group approach, that particular group you need to choose here. The group approach saves the time, includes the acceptance of ideas, makes the people responsible about their own health, and let them adopt preventive and curative measures. So here, for example, what I said, the social organizations, pregnant mothers, like a group, we need to choose here. Okay. So next, school children's, factory workers, Mahila Mandals, etc. Okay. So here are the some of the steps in the group approach. What are those? The introduction, modification of the attitude and behavior, and the communication. These are the main 3 steps are very important for the group approach. Next is the family approach. We are going to give the information, the health information to the particular family. Okay, so we need to consider the family approach. Okay, so here you know that the family means the mother, father, and the children. Okay, so if the mother and the father child are given same health education, the message through their respective channels here. The health education will be much more due synchronicity effect. Okay, so this is what the family approach. And next we are going to see the individual approach. Based on the age group and their needs, the health education is given here. So individually within the family there are the you can find the family members. So if they have any one of family members, they have any health related problems, then you can give that a particular individually you can take the client and you can give the health education. So next question comes health education, and what will be the health education content? Okay, so health education content we'll see one by one. The human biology. Okay, so the person should know the health education content first. Okay, before going to whatever, like maybe the community approach, family approach, group approach, or the individual approach. In order to give the health education to the people, then you should know the health education content. What he is going to be give the education. So the person should know the human biology in the structure and functions of the body. Okay, physical and physiological structure of the body you should know, and how to keep physically fit. And you should know regarding the reproductive biology, that includes the child spacing, breastfeeding, safe motherhood, immunization, weaning, and the childbirth. Next, the health education content should have the nutritional aspects. What are those? Choose the optimum and the balanced diet. Okay, so the
balanced diet, as you know that the diet should have all the nutrients. Okay, and the one person, the adult person, 2400, 2500, according to age criteria, he should need the calorie daily requirement calories. And to nutritional problems. So we know that what are the nutritional deficiencies. In order to treat the nutritional problems, the health education should have this nutritional problem content. And next, value of the breastfeeding, misconception about the weaning milk. And next, we have to see regarding the hygiene also. Okay, when the hygiene word comes, the cleanliness. Okay, here that may be personal hygiene, that may be environmental hygiene. Personal hygiene, that should be one individual, oneself should keep the cleanliness. And the environmental hygiene, the surrounding things, okay, water pollution, air pollution, okay, if the stagnant of water is there in front of the house, okay, these all things should be considered as an environmental hygiene. Next is the family health. In the family health, it promotes the family self-reliance, especially family responsible in childbearing, child raising, self-care, and the influencing their children to adopt the healthy lifestyles. And health education country should have disease control and the prevention. And we need to educate regarding the prevention and control of locally endemic diseases. And our health education content should have the mental health aspects. What are those? To make the people mentally healthy and prevent the mental breakdown in certain situations like a mother after childbirth, child entry to the new school, future career, starting a new family. Okay, so in that case, and the health workers show the sympathy and the understanding. And next, we need to focus on the prevention of accidents. Okay, usually the accidents happens, that may be home accident, road accident, and the workplace accident. The safety measures, we need to educate them. And next, we need to go for the uses of health services, especially the most of the 80% of the people that are residing in the rural area. Okay, so we need to inform the people about the health services that are available to them and the proper use of the health services. So next, we are going to see the educational ads. So here, educational aid, audio aids, in that megaphone, microphone, radio, tape recorder, under the usual aids, unprojected, under that blackboard, panel board, pictures, posters, charts, graphs, maps, flashcards, printed materials, three-dimensional aids, cartoons, and the photographs. And under the projected aids, in that epidemioscope, transparencies, projection slides, and the film strips. And under the audiovisual aids, you can see the television, video, tape slides, cinema. And under the traditional media, puppet, folk songs, folk dances, and the drama, what you can see. Those are the ABS. So next we will see the communication. Okay, already we have seen the communication definition. Okay, so it is a two-way process, and communication and education that are interwoven. The goal of the communication is to bring about changes in the desired direction of the person who receives the communication. This may be at cognitive level. At the cognitive level, that is increase the knowledge, and the affective level, and changing the patterns of behavior and the attitude. Under the psychological level, acquiring the skills in it. And next we will see the good communication skills. So effective, active listening listening along with the some feedback, that will be the good skill here. And rephrasing to client's words that ensure it understands. Asking open-ended questions. Okay, when we ask the close-ended questions, that is not a good skill here. Okay, so asking the open-ended questions that the person can express in the praises, his problems. Next is the making eye-to-eye contact and the providing complete attention. Next we will see how the communication process happens. So in slide, if you see, the sender will be there and there will be message, there will be channel, there will be receiver, and there will be feedback. Okay, so here the sender will send the message to the receiver and the receiver should give the feedback to the sender. So this is what the communication process. So we'll see one by one how it is processed. So sender, originator of the message. The sender is the originator of message here. He must know about the clearly defined objectives. Okay, he should set the objectives clearly, and he should know regarding the interested and needs of the audience. He should know what will be the needs of the audience, and he should write the message, and he should use the channels and the professional abilities and the limitations. And next is the message, that is the content. Okay, so a good message must be in a line with the objectives. It should have the objectives and it will be meaningful, and it is based on the felt needs. Felt needs means what are the needs of that particular audience. Okay, so felt needs, and clear and understandable, specific and accurate, timely and adequate, fitting the audience, interesting, and culturally and socially appropriate. And next, channel is the medium which the message is going to transfer to the receiver, sender to receiver. Okay, so three ways of mediums what you can see: the interpersonal, mass media, and the traditional. The interpersonal, face-to-face media what you can see, and the mass media, that may be TV, television, radio, printed media, and the traditional or folk media, that is related to cultural values of the rural population. And there are two types of audience. One is a controlled audience and the uncontrolled or free audience. And the feedback is very important in the communication. Okay, so flow of the information from audience to the sender here. So the information will be sent by the sender to the audience. That will be audience should send the feedback to the sender here, which is the reaction of the audience to the message. So that is what the communication process. The next we are going to see the types of communication. What are the types here? The one-way communication, two-way communication, verbal communication, non-verbal communication, formal communication, non-formal communication, visual communication, telecommunication, internet communication. Okay, so these are the types of communication. What do you mean by one-way communication? The message will go one person to another person. Okay, that is one-way process. That is what? That may be radio and the television. And next, two-way process. In the two-way process, sender will send the message and the receiver will be responsive. For example, you can see the video calls, face-to-face conversations. And the verbal communications like a meeting, speech and presentations. Non-verbal communication, so that is what the communication by the gestures, eye-to-eye contact and the facial expressions. What do you mean by formal communication here? So at the organization level, business letters, reports and the orders, etc. That will be called as a formal communication. What do you mean by non-formal communication? When you talk with the family members regarding your personal matters, with the friends, colleagues, so that comes with the non-formal communication. Next is the visual communication. So visual communication usually charts, graphs, flow charts, etc. there will be. And telecommunication, the communication by the telephone conversation. And next is the internet communication. In the internet communication, use of the internet, that is what the WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter and etc. So these are the types of communication. So next, the barriers of communication. What are the barriers in communication? There may be physiological barriers. For example, there may be vision problems. There may be hearing impairment. Okay. So if the hearing impaired occurs, then that is the barrier of the communication. Vision problems. And next is the psychological barrier. In that there will be delirium, confused and the depressed patients. And the environmental barriers, that may be loud noise, invisibility and the congestion. And the next is the culture barriers. That may be illiteracy, customs and beliefs and the language. So these are the barriers of the communication. So next we will see the Iec Training Scheme. So here the Information, Education and Communication Training Scheme was launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on November 17, 1987. Iec Training Scheme was launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on the November 17, 1987. So here are some objectives. Increase the reach of services by making visits of workers and supervisors more predictable or regular. Improve the quality of services through the skill and knowledge development of workers. Make supervision more oriented towards the problem solving process. And the link supervision between the training at various levels, that is primary, secondary and tertiary levels. Concentrate on the local field problems and combine interpersonal communication with the mass media approach. Establish relation between the various levels of elements of the system. So here are the major components. What are those? The first, we need to visit schedule. Okay, so here the visit of the particular village, and there will be linkage will be established between the villagers and the workers, and village, again the village will be divided into 20 households, and each household female is identified. Train her in the Iec activities, and she will be involved in the health and family welfare activities. So this is what the visit schedule first. Okay, so first component is the visit schedule. We have to visit the village, then we have to establish the link between the villagers as well as workers, and village is divided into 20 households. Each household a female is identified, and she will be trained in the Iec activities. Then she will be involved in the health and family welfare activities. Next is the training. Okay, the focus on problem solving skills of the workers. Training given at the work situation with the immediate supervision. And here two types of training been given, that is the initial training is given for the longer duration and the regular training is given for the shorter duration. And the third one is the supervision. Each supervisor should concentrate in three aspects. What are those? The records, target achievements, new instructions. And next is the monitoring and evaluation. So success of the program depends on the ability to monitor and evaluate the program adequately and accurately to take the correct actions. And next is the social marketing. So it's merely the application of the commercial marketing principles to advance a social cause, issue, behavior, product of the services. So social marketing process, it has the 6 steps. Okay, so analysis, planning, development, testing and refining the elements of the plan, implementation and the peer event. So elements of the social market, like understanding the customer needs first, and the distribution of the channels that may be in the urban area as well as the rural area, pricing, opportunity of the cost. So here are the IEC activities. Already we had seen that IEC activities combine, it has the combined strategies. Okay, it has the approaches and methods that will enable individual, family, group, organization and communities to play active role in achieving, protecting and sustaining their own health. So standing committee on media, what you can see, the facilitate the information and implementation of appropriate IEC strategy. There is a standing committee on media in the ministry under Secretary of Rural Department through different models of communication such as print, electronic and outdoor publicity. And here are the steps developing the IEC activities. What are those? To conduct the needs assessment. So we should know that what will be the need. According to that, we have to set the needs assessment. Then we have to go for the set the goals. When you identify the needs, then we need to set the goals. Okay, so we need to achieve those needs. We need to set the goals. Next is the establish behavioral objectives and develop the IEC activities and involve as many as partners possible. And we need to identify the potential barriers. And we need to identify the potential partners and the resources which are available in order to achieve our goals. Next is the establish and evaluation plan. So next is the IEC message. What will be the IEC message? IEC message should be good in nature and it should be short and it should be accurate and it should be relevant to the specific objectives. Next we'll say the role of counselor. What will be the role of counselor? To provide the accurate and complete information to help the users make her or his own decision about the which he will use. And the role of the counselor is not to offer advice or decide on the services to use. For example, The counselor will explain the available family planning methods, their side effects, and for the women they are considered most suitable. The user then makes a decision based on the information given about which the method she wishes to use. And next is the Iec Training Scheme. So it was launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare with the financial assistance from the USAID on November 1987 in 4 Hindi speaking states of India, that is in the Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Bihar in phases manner by the covering. 3 districts were covered in the first phase and the 6 districts were covered in the second phase and the 8 districts were covered in the third phase. And later the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare approved the plan and made the budgetary provisions. And here are some objectives of Iec Training Scheme. These are: increase the reach of services by making visits of the workers and supervisors more predictable and regular; to improve the quality of services through the knowledge and skill development of workers; combine interpersonal communication strategy with the mass media approach; and establish relationship between various levels